Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the Lanchi Monster 76. This is a 76mm micro drone. 76mm motor. It's actually a little bit more, about 78mm. And as you can see here, it does not come with the original props. I put on some different props on here, and I'll explain that in a second. But let me first go over the specs and what this comes with. It's kind of an interesting little drone. I got some thoughts on kind of what I think they could have done differently about this. So first off, it comes with 1104 8000 kV motors. They're Lanchi branded. It comes with a 4-in-1 10 amp ESC, BLES. And it comes with an Omnibus F4 flight controller with OSD. My particular unit was a FlySky receiver version. It comes with the RX2A, and it was actually set up for PPM. You guys can pretty much easily change this to iBus if you go from the 3rd pin here to the 4th pin. You see that the 4th pin doesn't have any solder on it. I elected not to do that for this particular case because I'm going to actually do a rebuild on this one, and I'll explain that in a second. It comes with a 48 channel 25 milliwatt all-in-one VTX combo. This is not the CM275T because it doesn't have that second button for the PAL NTSC switching. And on the back here we've got 2 LEDs that are programmable and a buzzer. The bottom plate here is 2mm thick and no issues with flex in the frame. It's very strong. This particular one does come with a JST connector. They do include a 500 milliamp hour battery, though there's no label on here. But I don't think this is a 500 milliamp hour battery. If you compare this to the battery that came with the King Kong series, this is a 350. You can see it's pretty similar in size and shape. And by the way, this one is actually puffed up a little bit because these motors draw a lot of power, and this battery has a very low C rating, so the battery got extremely hot when I was doing the line of sight testing. I haven't used this battery since then, and it's puffed up a little bit since then. So that's bad news about this one. The battery is no good in this one, and it's not 500 milliamps. It's probably a 350, and it's definitely worse than the one that came with the King Kong, which I would say is an average battery. This is below average. I didn't get any flips of death or brownouts. I know that some other reviewers like Nick had that issue with this battery, but I didn't. I don't know, maybe I got lucky, but I wouldn't use this battery. Its battery is no good. So as I mentioned, I did switch the props out because I originally did try to use the props that it came with, the 1630 prop, and all this is a cut down version of these DYS 2030s that are just terrible, and they're very unbalanced and hard to tune. So I did try a little bit of line of sight with the stock prop. And, you know, when you're flying line of sight, it's fine. You can't really tell what's going on until you fly FPV. But then I tried to fly at FPV, and I put a little bit of a video clip in the corner here. You can see that the video is all vibrating. It just looks like everything is shaking in the video. It just is this terrible. It has to do with the props. So I went ahead and I swapped in these props here. These are the Racer Star 1535 props, and I wanted to go with something that I didn't have to cut down. I know that I believe Andy used an HQ prop that he cut down, and I think Nick used a King Kong 1935 prop that he cut down. If you guys don't know how to cut down props or don't want to cut down props, this one seems to work pretty good. Most of the vibrations went away. I probably could have done a little bit more modding and secured the camera a little bit here, because all it is just secured by these 2 standoffs in the this little top pod here, and there's a little bit of vibration left in the video. I could have also perhaps soft mounted the motors as well, just to get a little bit better vibration, or just to reduce the vibration a little bit more. But I thought it was okay. So I think that the designers of this drone probably could have gone with a different power setup. I think that these motors are a little bit too heavy for this micro drone. I think the whole drone weighs about 53 grams, I believe, when I measured it. And it's kind of on the heavy side for these small props. These, you know, I mean, we're talking props like this, the 1630 or the 1535. You don't get a whole ton of power. It is a powerful motor, and it is spinning fairly fast at 8,000 kV, but I think that they could have. I think they could have gone with a smaller motor, like an 1103 10,000 kV or something like that. Maybe 1103 11,500 kV, like the one that comes with the Aurora 68. Spinning a smaller prop like this on 2S, you want a higher kV, and we want the overall craft to be lighter. And the reason I say that is with this heavier motor, yeah, it's powerful, but it draws a lot of power, and so the stock battery just couldn't cut it. And then when I used the E-Sheen, this is the E-Sheen Aurora 100 battery, this is a 450. Because it's drawing so many amps and drawing a lot of power, I only got about 2 minutes of flight time on the 450. So that's the thing about these smaller props and these bigger motors. I think that it is very power hungry, and with carrying all that extra weight, it just sucks down the battery very quick. I think if they used a smaller motor, I think that it would draw less power and you probably get a little bit more flight time, because the whole thing would weigh less. It's all about the weight, and I think that the optimal size for this prop is probably going to be an 1102 10,000 kV motor, because it's going to be very light overall. And then for the 1104 8,000 kV, I think that you probably can go to 2 or 2.5 inch. So yeah, you could, there's a couple ways you could, sort of remedy this situation if you happen to get this quad, is you could swap the motors out for smaller motors. That's probably a more expensive route. I know that you can probably get some Racer Star 1102 10,000 kV motors for like 25 bucks. If you want to go a little bit sort of cheaper route, you can get a newer frame and swap these parts into there. This is probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these 1104 motors and this whole power stuff, this whole thing basically, I'm going to put this into a different frame that'll run a 2-inch prop. I think that'll fly better. Also, the other thing that you could probably do, or you probably should do, if you do the a frame swap mod and go to 2-inch props, you probably want to swap out this JST connector. These 8,000 kV motors are drawing a lot of power, and you want to put in a XT30 on this. Now, this came with Betaflight 3.1.5. I did not flash it. Didn't really change much to the settings. However, I will put my PIDs up on the screen here so you can see what they are after I've tuned them with the 450 battery. I think it flies okay. It just felt a little bit underpowered, even though you got some big motors here. It's just the props are so small and the kV is a little bit low. It just felt a little bit underpowered in my opinion. So I'll go ahead and I'll leave you some line of sight footage I shot and some FPV footage. I believe this is on discount now, and I'll put a coupon code in the description. I believe it's like 90 something, $94 I believe. And if you just want to get this for the parts and put it into like another cheap frame, like that's about 10 bucks. It's not a bad deal if you're into taking things apart and modding it. Obviously, if you don't want to bother doing that, then obviously it's not really that good of a deal. You should probably get something else. But if you just want the parts, it's actually not that bad in terms of the cost.
Wow! Look at that.
The buzzer went off already. This battery is probably not that good. We're going to need to increase the rate. It's a little sluggish on the yaw axis. There's the buzzer going off right away.
I little bit. I love it.
That was full stick forward. And let's bring it back. I think these props are a little bit unbalanced. I can hear the oscillation.
Too, huh?
Alright, let's do a punch out here. There's the battery. It's not a very good battery it came with. Whoa. Yeah, that buzzer is going off pretty early. Gonna need to change the battery. See that oscillation there? I think that's vibration feeding back into the flight controller there.